Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system.
Welcome, 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 our dear brothers and sisters. We're grateful you're here, and I'm honored to be in your presence. It's important to know that those who are involved in the athletic event are energized and inspired by the energy of those watching. So you're not really a passive part. Everybody who's here is a part of the power event. The World Legion of Power is a drug-free and raw power organization. We don't use any steroids. We don't use any assistance, such as a bench press shirt. The World Legion of Power is now officially the Athletic and Sports Psychology Division of the Nerenberg Institute. So today is an educational event as well as a sports event. So I'm going to go into some of the educational aspects of what we do. As an educational institution, we have our staff, my wife Maheen Nerenberg, who's the chairman of the board, who is very much behind the school and is not really that much into weightlifting, has never really liked it. And yet she's backed it up, prepared all kinds of foods and made sure everything's taken care of in doing this. As she does for everybody in the family, whatever event any of us gets into, she gets behind us. So Maheen, as the chairman of the board. We have other staff present, such as Blanca and Michael Trejo from the Nerenberg Institute. C.T. Fletcher, who co-founded the World Legion of Power, has now gone into bodybuilding and will be competing next Saturday for Mr. Universe title, as I will be, at the International Natural Bodybuilding Association in Los Angeles. Now, when I talked about drug-free, there's no steroids or any kind of drug that will, performance-enhancing drugs, and no bench press shirt. So for instance, on a bench press, somebody might say, I bench pressed 500 pounds, 600 pounds. Well, they don't say they're wearing a 3-ply shirt. Each ply could add 100 pounds. Or if they're on steroids, could add another 100 pounds. In our federation, when somebody lifts, it's real. There's no bench press shirt, they're not assisted, and they're not on steroids. We test world records. If somebody sets a world record, we drug test them. We like to think of this part as part of the respectfully real revolution. Respectfully real, where we're being honest with one another in a respectful fashion. So the World Legion of Power and the Nerenberg Institute is a respectfully real institution. Now we come to the mission. The mission of the Nerenberg Institute and the World Legion of Power, being the Sports and Psychology Division, is to add to the upliftment and advancement of civilization for at least 1,000 years. You might say, well, how can you do that for 1,000 years? Well, we don't know. We're going to, because of the intention. We have that intention through the concepts and the educational new ideas that we're going to bring today to add to the betterment of society, the betterment of our community, the betterment of our nation, the betterment of the world. That's what we're about. It's a very important aspect of understanding the context that we're functioning in. Now, very often we don't have that many competitors, so a lot of times it's not a competition against each other, but against local, state, national, and world records. We come to a very interesting inquiry. Why would anybody want to be a power lifter? The training is excruciating. It's not natural to train that hard with these kind of heavy weights because of injuries, the expense. And keep in mind, when people compete here and have dedicated their lives, because it's a lifestyle in terms of the rest, the nutrition, the training. And why? Why would a reasonably normal person do this? Not only aren't we being paid, not making money at it, It's costing money to get over here. We had Ron travel 400 miles to come. It's a gas expense, the expense to enter into the competition, to be a member of the World Legion of Power. So it costs to do this. So not only aren't the people making any money, they're spending money. And really, if you saw somebody train both in bodybuilding or powerlifting, you would see the most ferocious faces and grunts. Whoa! You hear these sounds. Somebody else's experience looks at that and he knows what that is. And the face, like that. So why is this guy doing this? I asked my wife, why do you think men do that? She says, because men are stupid. I said, well, and now some people agree with that. But actually, we're not as stupid as we seem. There are good reasons why. To understand the reason, we have to understand an important human drive, which is to actualize our potential, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. There's a drive to manifest that potential. Now, what is the goal that we're all striving towards? I mean, what it matters if somebody bench presses 500 pounds or 400 pounds or does a power pull-up with 100 pounds? You can say, well, who cares? What's the purpose of that? Well, we need to understand the larger context, and it's this. The goal really, as we conceptualize it at the Nerenberg Institute and the World Legion of Power, is to become men and women of honor with wisdom. How do you become, say, a man of honor? It involves integrating the masculine and feminine principle with noble character. The essence of the masculine principle is to arise to the struggle. The essence of the feminine principle is love and nurturance, and noble character includes humility, loyalty, respect, service to community, family, and for those who have a spiritual belief, service to God. So you have the masculine principle, the feminine principle, and noble character. Then we integrate that with our gains and our losses, our joys and our sorrows, and we achieve wisdom. So thus we become men and women of honor with wisdom. How does powerlifting form into this? As all athletics, it is an excellent venue for establishing the masculine principle. We are arising to the struggle. We arise to the struggle. And keep in mind, when we do this, we are even injuring ourselves. We're bringing hardship to ourselves and injury to ourselves. Mostly we want to bring constructive injuries. The muscles start breaking down. You have muscle tears, and then the body builds up stronger. So it's really a path of constructive injury. Now, we also need to understand that we conceptualize power and strength as a metaphor for spiritual and emotional power. So we respect the athlete that can lift a lot of weight, whether it's on a bench press, T-bar strongman pull, power pull-up, strict curl, whatever it is. But we see it as a metaphor for spiritual and emotional strength. We respect the athlete that can lift a mountain of resentment through the power of forgiveness. And ultimately, without seeing the larger picture of what this physical pursuit is to really lose the main purpose of what it's about, which is really the contribution that the World Legion of Power and the Nerenberg Institute is bringing to this. To keep in mind the larger picture, the metaphor that we're really working with of this kind of spiritual power, this kind of emotional power.